Oh, mistimed that. I thought it would start it right on the dot at 10. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Pound for Pound, breaking down the tape's newest show. And I am the newest part-time member of Breaking Down the Tape. My name is James Puopolo, otherwise known as James from Boda, otherwise known as the annoying dude that is always in their comments. Zach and Hector were awesome enough to take me on. They wanted Brittany. Thank you for joining us. They wanted to give me an opportunity to do some like Brown stuff with them, to make some content. I'm sure you've seen some of my stuff go out during the week, but it is so awesome to actually be a part of this team. Oh my God, dude, look at all the love I'm getting in the chat. Cobes. Zach. Oh my God, guys. Thank you for coming out and supporting. Really appreciate it. But we are here. We're here to talk about, and I know we're starting the show a little bit late, but I promise you there's going to be a bunch of Brown stuff this offseason. But we're here to talk about the most pivotal game in our disappointing season so far. Currently, we are sitting at the bottom of the AFC North, a position no Browns fan thought we would be in. Zach, thank you so much. I am very happy to be here. Also, note the mic from the ceiling. This is not going to be a long-term thing. My ADHD is already firing off. My God, just derailed completely off the bat. None of us expected the Browns to be in this position. We expected us to be competing with the Ravens, our team we're facing today. We expected to be at the top. We had the offense, we had the defense, and surprisingly, the defense is fine. The offense is our biggest issue. And part of that comes down to Baker Mayfield. Part of that comes down to my man Bake not being healthy, having the torn labrum, having a million injuries, a million bruises all over the dude's body. Jack Conklin, losing him has not helped that in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, I was kind of optimistic about this game. I was pretty optimistic. We had a week to rest. We had a week to recover. Baker, who was playing fine before a lot of these injuries started stacking up, the labrum really pushed him back a lot, but not as bad as it could have been. Then COVID. And COVID smacked us, called us, said we're an idiot, called us. I don't even know if I'm going to swear on this yet, but COVID came after us hard this week. We are losing Anthony Walker, David Njoku, Jamie Gillen, Greg Newsome, which I don't think is related, but he is still out for this game. Harrison Bryant, I don't believe, is expected to play because he was a close contact. The point of a bye week is you're supposed to get healthier. You're supposed to be better. You're supposed to get rest, whatever. What we've heard from this bye week is everyone has COVID and no one is focused. Thank you, Myles Garrett. That is the last thing any of us wanted to hear. But good news, we're going to be getting Jacob Phillips back in. That is going to be awesome. But I think really the biggest point that we're going to be talking about for this game with the injuries, I mean, obviously, this isn't going to look good. I'm assuming Rashard Higgins is going to be in too, but it's going to come right back to what we were kind of alluding to before with Baker. Baker needs to show up. And I'm not turning away from him. That's my guy. Baker Mayfield is my quarterback. As a Browns fan, I will stand by that. I will die on that sword. But also, there's a lot of Browns fans that are ready to fucking sell the farm on the kid. Sell the farm on this kid who's done so much for us. And that's a whole other debate we'll get into in the offseason. He's had time to heal. He could have capitalized against the Ravens last time. I think it was a 10-16 off the top of my head loss. And with all those turnovers that we were able to get, like, he should have been able to turn that into something. And the painful thing that I can say with all this, we'll get to this point in a second, but the painful thing with all of this is that you have to look at it at some point and wonder if it's Baker fighting through these things and trying to fight for a contract, or if it's a lack of faith from the front office. Now, I'm going to quickly diverge off of that. How's Conklin looking? In a strange turn of events, your offense is significantly more effective when he plays. Yeah, he's out for the season. He tore, I believe, his pec. God, you guys are just coming in with the hot comments right now. Okay, so let me get back to my original point. Conklin's out. That's going to suck. That was a big hit. But with Baker, at what point are you, Kevin Stefanski, and you look at this and say, okay, is 40% of what we've seen from Baker better than 100% Case Keenum? At this point, what do you do with that? Like if we lose today, I'm willing to say sit back on Baker, let him rest, put him out, put him on the IR, let him get that labrum surgery and run back. Now, to that point, we have Zach Murphy in the comments. As a Mayfield supporter, when do you cut and run? The hardest thing with Baker right now is that a lot of us who are still in on him are kind of chasing a high, like a drug high, because we've seen the lows. Everyone's seen the lows. Everyone's seen these awful performances throughout, like the Patriots games, not just counting this year, counting 2 years ago. We've seen a lot of lows. We've seen a lot of like very good middle ground. But what we're chasing are those highs. We're chasing the 20 for 20 he went against the Bengals last year. We're chasing this kid who drove us to the playoffs. We're chasing all of this. So at some point, you have to digest it and realize what you have. I think, and this is tough to say, especially because I get a lot of flack for this as an opinion, Baker isn't a bad quarterback. And I know a lot of people love to say that, and I think a lot of people just hate quarterbacks who are in the media more and aren't like focused on the game. Like, you should eat, sleep, and drink football. You should actually, if you're going to drink anything, drink, wrong hand, Aviation Gin. Proud sponsor of Breaking Down the Tape. I knew I was going to work that in at some point. Look, we still have one more year of Baker. We have his option next year, right? And the tough part about that is that I can't think of a quarterback who's been signed after his option. And I wanted to, when I was writing the notes for this, I wanted to think that Dak Prescott was one of those quarterbacks, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, Kolb's says, agreed what to do with Baker. Let him get healthy before you make the final call. He looks better this year when healthy than he has in the past seasons. And that's another point. Earlier this year, he was completing at a crazy rate. I don't have that stat in front of me because I did not come prepared for that. But he was playing clean. He wasn't throwing as many interceptions. I think he had like 2 interceptions before the torn labrum. He was playing very like what we wanted to see. Like he was hitting that stride. And then he went out there and tried to make a tackle as like a player, you know, as someone who cares about his team, and got injured. And now the entire fan base has turned against him. 90% of the fan base has turned against him. It's painful to see. I don't like it. It hurts. So on my ADHD train, we're going to go back into it. Give him the extra year. I am confident. Motherfucker. Mikey, thank you for stopping in. I do use fake weights. I use those. You guys got to stop distracting me. God. Okay. Give him the extra year. But like I said, the first name I think of when we talk about playing off of an option is like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston wasn't re-signed and he was fine. But I think Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, but that's a whole nother debate. Look, Baker's a good quarterback. A lot of what people do, a lot of what Browns fans are doing are comparing him to what's around him. And what's around him is a Josh Allen, who has had unbelievable development, right? Is a Kyler Murray, who, in all fairness, got put into an awesome system, but is also a phenomenal quarterback who developed very rapidly. All these young quarterbacks, Mac Jones now, I mean, that's a whole nother episode of Take Confessionals, but we're looking at all these quarterbacks who've had this crazy development, and Browns fans are just ready to sell on Baker. We have positives. We have so many positives with Baker. We have so many things, and like Kolb's mentioned earlier in this comment here, he looked good early this year. He looked like the guy we wanted to see this year, the guy we'd be willing to pay. Now it's not so much, it's not as clear, but there's also the aspect of he's playing and torn everything. He is shattered. So on this first point, I guess, without diving deeper into the Baker thing, today is a pivotal day for a lot of things, but it's a pivotal day to see what we have in a young quarterback. And if he can go out there, if he can do well, great. But we're also more likely than not starting a rookie in Conklin's position. So if he gets abused, put Case Keenum in. Put him in. Let him rest. Because if you actually have faith in the kid, let him rest. Keep him healthy, because that's how you're going to keep him for the long term. If you just keep letting him like tear his or pop his shoulder out and tear his labrum repeatedly, nothing good is going to come of that. Nothing. You're just going to lose an asset that you spent a first round, a 101 on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. I don't want to keep harping on the Baker thing. That's not why you guys came here. We're still talking about the Ravens. So this is the tough thing. We already mentioned about that. We are currently sitting with, I don't know what the stat is since the Steelers. I can't imagine it changed that much, but we're at a 22% chance to make the playoffs. With a win today, we move that up to 34%. With a loss, that's down to 6%. We are free falling. At that point, and this goes back to the Case Keenum point, at 6%, season's over. This is the game to decide the season, especially an in-division game. Like, we could have been able to beat the Ravens last time. We should have beat the Ravens last time. We just couldn't capitalize. Kolb's coming in again. Ravens haven't scored 20 points in the last 4 games and are still 2-2 through those 4 games. I know, and Lamar hasn't looked great. I guess we can talk about that. Lamar's looked like straight shit. He's kind of done this thing where he's fitting into the rhetoric of what the internet's calling him. Like, he's just the glorified running back. The interception rate has been awful. The passing has been questionable. He still keeps them in games, but he's not winning them as many games as he did earlier in the year, which is not what you want to see at any point, but especially at this time of year where they're trying to make that playoff drive. Obviously, they have a pretty good position. But when you look at it top to bottom, anything could happen any given Sunday for the AFC. So right now we're sitting at 6-6, Steelers 6-1. Take that. Way to go, Detroit. And then the Bengals are 7-5. The Ravens are 8-4. This division's still up for grabs for anybody in it. Even the Steelers, who have looked fine. Even the Browns, who have looked fine. I think it is top heavy with the Ravens and Bengals. I think the Bengals are on a bit of a free fall. But if the Ravens start losing and they start losing position, they could fall right out of the AFC North and honestly slip out of the wild card spot, because that's realistically what you're competing for in the AFC North. Is like, yeah, you want to win, you want to have that first spot. Who doesn't? But more likely than not, that second position is a wild card spot, and the Bengals are in a good spot to get that. The Ravens are in a good spot to get the North. If they slip down, Browns are we're right there. We're right there where we can leapfrog and get up. I know we have a tough rest of our schedule. But oh my God. I'm nervous. There's a lot of emotion going through me right now. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of Browns love. I didn't even realize this. I got an orange Polar can for today. I should have put aviation gin in it, but I do have to work later. Maybe I did. For legal purposes, I did not put aviation gin. I need a job, so please don't fire me. So looking at the Ravens side, we already talked about it. Lamar Jackson's been a bit of hit and miss as of late. The passing hasn't been there. One other big note, and he was not active during the first game before the bye week. Calais Campbell will be back in, and we already know how hard of a time Baker has getting around larger defensive tackles and defensive ends. So Calais Campbell being back and being a human wall is not going to be a fun time for anybody out there. Also, with the rookie right tackle, I got the tackle wrong. But with the rookie playing on the line today, I got to expect that the Ravens are going to be abusing the blitz. Marlon Humphrey not being out there is a huge hit. I'm going to bring up this point in a sec. You know what, Zach, can I just do the show? All right. I have these in my notes. You're really killing my energy right now, guy. I'm kidding. I love you. So the Ravens are going to be, at least from my perspective, they should be abusing the blitz. Marlon Humphrey's going to be out. I can't think of their slot corner, but he will be back in. They're going to make Baker roll out and make him uncomfortable, which honestly could work in our favor, but doesn't necessarily always work in our favor. So Zach says here, in defense of Action Jackson, he has no offensive help, especially in the backfield. I don't put his... the backfield's for sure. I can agree with that. J.K. Dobbins, if he was there, this would have been a whole different story. You have obviously a much better young running back in J.K. than I think you're going to get with Latavius Murray and or Devonta Freeman. I always get him and Devonta Freeman. Anyway, Devonta Freeman out there. But I will say his receiving options aren't bad. Like, Mark Andrews was a top 5 tight end. I don't know where he's really at right now. He kind of just has these big burst games, and he's reliable. He's one of his favorite targets. Marquise Brown looked great earlier this year, and he's kind of disappeared. Rashad Bateman's one of my favorite rookies in this class and hasn't really shown up to do much. And I guess Devin DuVernay? Sammy Watkins? Okay. So at that point, yeah, I get what you're saying is there's like 2 solid wide receivers, 1 solid tight end, a retirement home of a backfield that probably average age of 28 and, whatever. And then he's following up. When you don't have a run game, it's easy to stop the pass. True, but that's kind of what you want with Lamar, right? Isn't that why there's the RB1 jokes? Like Lamar is supposed to be able to do both things. That is kind of why they drafted him where they drafted him. And I know it was late first round at the very end of the first round, but the fact is he could be both sides of that offense. He was great at passing at Louisville, but he was also this amazing, like running college quarterback. And it was fun to watch. I think something's off with Lamar. I just don't know if that's a mental thing, if that's a post-injury thing. I think he didn't have a COVID scare. He had some weird illness that went around. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm just hoping we can take advantage of it because with this last, we need this win. We need this win. We need to keep going. I think we realistically need to win out. I think that's not a shock to anybody, but we can really book one loss, and this one shouldn't be that loss. If we book this loss, then oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? I'm just gonna let that one marinate. I'm just gonna let that one sit there. I see these things pop up in the comments and need another game. Fuck. That was devastating because I really thought I was like, oh my God, Lamar's out. We have a chance. And yes, thank you, Zach, for an actual point. Browns can't handle division loss. Asshole. Okay. So, points about this game. Let's recap to where we're at because I need to do that for my own ADHD. I can't even say ADHD. Baker's back's against the wall. We know he plays well with that. But if we lose, sit him. Lamar Jackson. At some point, the trend has to change. At some point, he has to come back to earth. Or I guess not come back to earth, but he has to rise up again, turn the interceptions into touchdowns and completions. And the Browns are just so injured. I don't know when we'll ever get a healthy cornerback. I feel like we haven't had all of our cornerbacks in since week 1. Even then, I don't know. I just want them all healthy. If we spent a first round pick on a corner, I want him there. I am happy to have Jacob Phillips back in. All right. So full keys. I don't have much else to say on this one. This is going to be a little bit shorter. It's me around 20 minutes or so, but recognize the blitz. Realize that blitz is coming. Don't think that just because Marlon Humphrey isn't there that their passing game or their passing defense drops down. The Ravens are still a phenomenal defense. They're still a very good passing defense. And John Harbaugh is a very good coach. So he knows how to scheme. He knows what to do. He knows how to perform around him. We got to build off the run. We got to utilize some short passes, see what we can do with that. Do what we've done best and build off of these short. Come on! Are you kidding? Yes, Zach, I agree. We should use screens and outside. We will have a healthier Kareem Hunt in, so using the outside zones and screens should come back, which is kind of our bread and butter. Having the 2-headed monster of Chunt, as apparently I have neglected to call them and kind of refuse to call them because it just sounds weird. Back there will help, but lack of tight end, which we know Baker loves targeting, doesn't feel good. Doesn't really instill a lot of confidence, but having Rashad Higgins out there might be a difference maker. So recognizing the blitz, I also think just attacking Lamar and winning on defense is going to be our biggest thing, which I know off face value sounds very obvious, but what we have is we have a linebacker in JOK who you don't draft a player for 2 games out of the year. But when we drafted JOK, it kind of felt like, all right, we're like drafting to, beat Lamar. Like this is a dude who's built to, it is going to be a phenomenal game. And since you're here, as you already know, I later during the game, live, interrupting the keys right now, I will be hosting a battle on Rave on Sports, a phenomenal app. It's a great platform to just talk to other sport enthusiasts, watch me go crazy as the Browns drive me further into insanity today at 1:00. I will be live there commenting and posting and chatting with anybody who wants to come through. So I encourage you all to please join in and talk with us and just hang out. It's really just an awesome time every time anyone's on that app. Okay, all right. I'm trying to figure out the whole promotion thing. God, Zach. I have it's like having a producer. Like I feel like this is what like ESPN feels like, except Zach can just yell at me in the comments and everyone gets to see it. I feel like this is what it's a mix of having like a producer in your ear and also getting tomatoes thrown at you in like an old play. It's very interesting. Okay, so like I was saying before, attacking Lamar Jackson, making him uncomfortable. JOK is going to be a key. Mixing him with Myles Garrett. The Ravens' offensive line has been atrocious. Alejandro Villanueva has been awful. If he's not like blocking someone, it feels like he's getting a penalty off of it. Like I don't know what his actual rate is. I don't know what his PFF score is. I don't know what anything is off of that. I don't have any stats to back that. I don't really know what the official ranking is on their offensive line, but I know what we're doing on defense is great. We had to pressure Joe Burrow, which obviously two different breeds of quarterbacks. Thank you, Zach. And we did. We have to make Lamar uncomfortable. We have to force him out of the pocket, and we have to have JOK working as a spy to make sure he has to throw and he can't get those extra yards that we know Lamar is so good at getting. It's just making stuff happen out of nowhere. It's great. It's mind-numbing. But like last game, we have to win on defense. And part of that's got to be making Lamar do commit turnovers. Sure, that sounded right. Didn't feel good, but it sounded right. Myles Garrett getting through, and he's going to get through no matter what. Double teams, he just makes it happen. Clowney pushing pressure, JOK being back there. And I mean, having I'm assuming it's going to be AJ Green stepping into Newsom's position. He's done actually a surprisingly good job for a guy I just didn't have on my radar. Like a dude I thought was going to be a practice squad guy. Shout out to you, AJ. When have we ever seen a producer in the comment section of any show? This is transcendent in the industry. This is what Breaking Down the Tape is bringing you. This is the brand. We are bringing you live producer feedback. We have fans in the comments. We have people yelling at me. We have ADHD on camera. We have guys who forget to promote the brand. It's great, and I'm loving every minute of it, and you should too. But I think overall, weird transition. I do think it's a close game. I think the Browns are going to manage to get this one, and I think it's going to create a whole nother big debate. So I'm just setting myself up to just be devastated today. Just shit on. Just smacked around. But I'm optimistic. I think this is the start of a Cinderella run. I think next year we've got a lot to figure out. I think this offseason is going to be huge. So stay tuned to Breaking Down the Tape. Stay tuned to Breaking Down the Tape. Stay tuned to Pound for Pound as I go through stuff weekly in the off season. I mean, we still got a bunch more episodes. We got so much more to do. We got so much more season left. And you're just going to see me descend slower into madness every episode. That's what the Browns do to you. Special thank you to Aviation Gin for sponsoring, Breaking Down the Tape, and everything we do. We appreciate you. We love you. Ryan Reynolds is gorgeous. He's such a handsome guy. And thank you to Rave on Sports. Like I said, I will be hosting there. I will be hosting there today at 1:00. Come in, join in, chat with us, talk shit to me. Do it. I love it. I love it. Special thanks to crap. Damn it, Zach. I was trying to touch Colbs. Thank you. Oh, I said I was trying to touch Colbs. Thank you to Colbs for stopping in. Appreciate your existence. Check them out at Jacked and Can. Zach is putting dog emojis in now. I love you all. Thank you so much for welcoming to the Breaking Down the Tape team. Forever Browns. I don't know. I haven't thought of anything yet. Oh, God. I'm not going to live that one down, am I? Stay beautiful. As always, I love you.